Welcome back to the Direct Elimination podcast. This time we have a great episode for you guys featuring our good friend Justin Yoo. So if you want to learn things about how to juggle playing multiple instruments and doing multiple sports, how to have a job in high finance, how to know which stray dogs are good to feed, and how to stay motivated in the face of extreme difficulty, then this episode's for you. I'm ready to go.
You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right. So Episode 2.
All right. Welcome back.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone who listened to the first episode. You know, we got a lot of really positive feedback and
overwhelmingly positive. I was expecting a little
more hate.
A little more hate.
I thought we'd get more hate. But you know, to kick off the real depth and breadth of this, podcast and what it's meant to be, we have one of our really good friends on. And, at the first episode, we talked about ourselves a little bit about, where we come from, why we do what we're doing, our all-in moments, some good memories we had from the sport. And I think that was a great introduction.
Yeah.
But
I get an idea of who we are.
Yeah.
A little more serious than I think either of us are as people.
Yeah.
But I think naturally, now that we're a little more open, I think it'll, we're getting into some good stuff here.
Absolutely.
But I think what you were getting into was introducing our very first guest.
Yeah.
A very special guest on the podcast. Someone who's a very accomplished fencer, a very accomplished professional, a very accomplished student,
accomplished violinist.
Alleged tennis prodigy.
Yeah. He's just really good at most things he does.
And someone I would describe as an absolute animal in any aspect of his life.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
What else can we say?
Let's rattle off some stuff. He's won, youth 10, youth 12, youth 14, 17 and under, 20 and under, and senior level national competitions, which is every major competition that USA Fencing offers nationally. And then he's had quite a distinguished international career as well. He's a mystery man right now. We're going to reveal him soon, but this is really what we want to bring to you guys. I know we talked a lot about ourselves, but this podcast, this experience is a lot more about showcasing the stories and the passion and the lives of the amazing people that we get to have as a part of our community and our network.
And if anybody's got some good stories, it's our guest right here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No pressure. No pressure. You got to have some good stories today. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce to you guys most recently, amongst many other accolades, most recently a 2025 Team USA World Championship team member and our teammate at the New York Athletic Club, Justin Yoo.
Nice, guy.
The reveal. Move it a little closer to your feet. Yeah.
Oh,
Product placement. So,
gonna let him get his ears on.
Yeah. He's just gotta get
What's
the
up,
ears
guys?
on. Can you hear yourself?
Didn't see you there.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Here, let's
right.
just twist it more towards your face. How about now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Get it even closer.
Yeah.
I don't want it in there.
So, as our first official guest on this show, we just want to, chat a little bit about you and your life. And before we get into the real nitty gritty, you're recently coming back from the 2025 Senior World Championships in Tbilisi, Georgia. Correct or incorrect?
Yeah. So I just got back. I got back about like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a good experience. Georgia's always an incredible place.
Yeah. Tell us about it. Tell us, plenty of people got to see it. The Fencing Federation released like a new platform to watch fencing, fencingtv.com, right? Which was cool for us. But then you guys also seem to have a pretty cool experience. You've been to many world championships. This was, if I'm not mistaken, your 7th world championships or 6th.
I went to Plovdiv twice, Tashkent, Bourges, France, Cairo, and now Georgia. Georgia's definitely my favorite one.
Yeah. Okay. So
out of all of those.
tell us about it. Tell us what stood out about this
Better
world.
than Plovdiv?
Yeah. Tell us about Tbilisi. Tell us about the experience you had from the fencing and just the presentation. Just like
all three of us here, for context, have been to Tbilisi before.
Yes.
It's
Love
like
Tbilisi.
the oldest Catholic and Jewish state. It's weird. There's like all these beautiful old buildings, and then there's the most modern McDonald's right next to it. Like, and it's delicious. I don't know what they do there, but it's great. Food's really good. I brought my girlfriend Hannah, and we ate like countless kinkalis. Yeah, it was cool. Hannah just loves like these like stray animals, and there's just like a ton of stray dogs there. So we would like steal hot dogs from like the breakfast and go feed stray animals.
Don't the dogs there, if I remember correctly, they tag the dogs that are vaccinated with this yellow tag on their ears so that you know which ones are safe to pet and which ones you should not touch.
No, they tag them to show that they've been like spayed or something.
Oh,
or
okay. Okay.
But,
so you shouldn't touch
so
any
what
of
are
them.
you supposed to do with that information?
So I have rabies.
If you see two of them like on top of each other, hey, stop that. You don't have a yellow tag.
We don't need more. Anyways. Yeah. So tell us about like how this experience was for you. You know, the result was, I know, not something that you were looking for, but in general, this will really get us into the meat and potatoes of this podcast.
Sure.
And you know, talking about just growth, dealing with challenges, dealing with success, you know, because from a team perspective, it was the best US team result at a world championship since 2019, maybe even 2018. We can fact check that, but I believe 2019, which is 6 years ago. So that's looking up. And individually, I know that there was more on the table that you did want. So just, you know, let's start there and let's just dive into it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think from a team perspective, like this team has been like, we really grew this season. Like I think we faced a lot of growing pains where like we're trying to shuffle the positions and see like who fit where. I think like there's always like room to grow and there's always like things to get better at. But I think Seth Kelsey, our national coach, has done a really good job of like trying to figure out like what like where someone's comfortable, where someone's uncomfortable, and like trying to like figure out the matchups. I remember at the beginning of the season he didn't want to like put any subs in, but he changed that because I think it's just like it's hard to I guess like one thing that I forgot about from like for team bouts is that fencing all three bouts is like no joke. Like you gotta really grind.
Yeah.
And so like I think at least I don't have like the endurance to fence like that. I usually get put into the third position. I don't have the endurance to fence that third position like the entire day. I could probably do like one or two bouts, but if you want me to like run at like the French team for like 9 minutes, like there's no way I can like catch my breath in between. So
yeah,
I think from like I'm really happy with the growth we've had.
Yeah.
Sam, Oleg, and Tristan, mad chillers. Love
Tristan Sapari, Oleg Knish, and Sam Emmerich.
They're cool.
Justin's Team USA World Championship team members, and some of the other representatives of the red, white, and blue overseas.
I think the team culture's gone really good.
Yeah.
I think like the past like in like 2022 to 2024 it got a little bleak, but I think Ari
bleak is a good choice of words there.
yeah. It wasn't the most fun, but we were.
But I think like the groundwork, like even Ari put in with like our culture has like really actually helped. I was a little skeptical about it at first. I thought it was a little silly, but hey, it works. Yeah. And yeah, you can't knock it.
No, it's true. I do. I mean, Steven can obviously opine on this, but having a good contingent of us in New York City working together and not just knowing each other, but seeing each other day in, day out, talking to each other about, you know, what's going well, what's not going well, as well as just the tournament competition culture of supporting each other and growing together, not being so closed off and having this be a more open workspace has really helped, because it's like a rising tide raises all ships. And we've really seen that this year. And you've been a huge part of that. I mean, Justin just is coming off, for those listening, he's coming off a career best year, right? He had not the best year nationally, he
Oh yeah.
no, I mean, you still had some okay results relative to what you're looking for, but
He beat me.
yeah, he beat Steven, which is not easy, everyone. And internationally, you had some of the best results of your life. You got to be two world champions, really, a team and individual world champion, and they were 2 finalists at the world championships, and it was really good. But
I was happy with the people I beat this year.
Yeah.
And I feel like even the bouts I lost, especially towards like the beginning and middle of the season, were very close anyways with like really hard people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, I mean, I was gonna say like progress isn't linear though.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I fenced like not great towards the end of the season, and it's just for like a variety of factors. I think like just because you fence well like one part of the season doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna fence well the next, or even like it kind of sucks, but that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I got a question that we didn't plan on, but that I'm curious about, and I'm sure other people will, if they're listening to this for fencing advice or how to improve their game.
You're at the wrong place.
How do you feel? Like, what do you think allowed you, when the season was going well, when you had that career best result, what do you think changed? Either was it something in training, mental, spiritual, whatever, that allowed you to approach those incredibly difficult bouts back to back, essentially? I think they were back to back. Like,
you're talking about Mate Koch and David Rowland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, they'll inevitably, as they start to progress in their career, they'll go up against very accomplished opponents. And you went up against 2 of the most accomplished opponents
out there
available in the game right now. How did you sort of overcome that? Did you have any expectation? What do you think allowed you to do that?
I honestly wish I could tell you, like, I wish I could be like spiritually I was aligned with Jupiter or something. That would be cool. But I think it really just came down to like, I think in the beginning, middle, and like a little bit towards the end of the season, I was more willing to like just fucking fight people like as hard as I could. And I think that's like kind of what it is, where like if you're just willing to give yourself into the fight and just accept that it's going to be really difficult and you might not win and it's fine, I think you fence better. But I think if you're like, fuck, I need these points, I keep saying fuck.
No, say it. This is marked as explicit content. Not made for children unless your parents allow.
Okay, well, I guess
Well, we could also bleep it out if we really feel like it.
That's fine.
Beep.
All right. Well, I guess like if you're just like looking at these points and you're like, fuck, I need these points. I need like this result. Like if I get this amount of points, then I'm safe for the team. Then it gets a little screwy. I think like you got to like kind of, at least in my opinion, I need to disconnect myself from that. And it's a work in progress, like many things are in fencing. So
I have a funny story, if you'll allow, to go
Permission
off
granted.
To go off of what Justin said. This was in maybe 2013 or 2014. I might have told you this before, but there was a pre-Summer Nationals summer camp. It had to have been in 2014. And it was coming a few months after Justin had a historic result, first men's epeists to medal in cadet and junior worlds, which was
in the same world
championships. Sorry. So Justin comes off of that result and he's at this summer camp at Los Angeles International Fencing Center, which we'll get into your origins next.
My origin story.
And I was at this camp, and at the lunch break, they had a little panel with the World Championship team members who were there at this camp, and Q&A and
who was that? Justin Yoo, Kasha Nixon,
Jake,
Charlie Horowitz,
and Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie Horowitz and Jake.
Shout out Charlie.
And so Justin, they asked Justin, what did you do to prepare for your bouts? And Justin goes, do you want to tell him what you said?
I think I told him I went outside before every bout, took my socks off, and connected with nature and like stood in the grass.
I would never believe that. Knowing you, did you actually do that?
I did do that.
Okay. Where has that Justin been my whole life? That's amazing. I mean, you did, for the record, fence amazingly that World Championships.
But I don't think you can really attribute it to like sandy socks.
No, you were just feeling yourself, that you were focused.
But he tells us this, and I went and I had my first international event that I participated in a few months later, and I went like, what I need to like do well at this. And so I went outside and there was no grass. And I put and it's like freezing out and I couldn't take my socks off. So I put my hand on a tree and I stood there. I was like, Justin, this is what Justin did. Like this is what I need to do. And then I did well. So maybe there's something to it. But then I think years later, did you really do that? Because years later you told me you're like, oh, I made that shit up.
No, I did do that. But I remember talking to Jake Reynes, shout out Jake. And I was like, I don't know what to say to these kids. Like, this is kind of weird, and I want to go get Indian food with you guys. And they're like, no, you gotta say like the most ridiculous thing you can think of, and see how many kids will actually do that. So
at least one.
I connected with nature. So I think the underlying root of whatever you were saying there is,
don't listen to Justin.
No. I mean, it was, you were present. What that is you were being present and you were being in the moment, and that's something that was, if you did it ritually throughout that competition, it doesn't have to be something that you do all the time, but it's something that was keeping you present in that moment. And I think that's something that relates back to what you were just saying with the Vancouver World Cup, where you beat two of the best fencers on the circuit. Like, you were just very present that day,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Acknowledging that you need to fight and that it's going to be hard, and regardless, and you might lose, and all of those things. That's a very present thing to do, and to just focus on the fight, to focus on the next touch, whatever it is that you're focusing on. It's about being present, and that's something that most people, I believe, would agree with, regardless of what their rituals or focus methods are, and their best results come when they're the most present, which kind of segues us perfectly into the plan for today's episode, which is starting out with, something Steven and I talked about on the first episode was our all-in moments, right? With fencing, and when was our moment individually with that we felt that this is the time where I choose fencing, and I want to be the best version of myself. I want to do this for real. And that is a moment of presence where you're really present, and you're deciding that this is it. And some people obviously, maybe don't have the choice to buy in, they're forced into it, and then all of a sudden they're just down this path. But some people, also have the choice to buy in. And we're wondering, and everyone's wondering, what was your all-in moment for fencing, if you can remember, if you have one? And it could be a recurring thing. I think I gave a kind of recurring answer of like, there are multiple moments. But what is, if you can remember a moment for you that you decided, this is what I want to do? Because all of us are out here, we're working full-time jobs, we're training our butts off to be the best versions of ourselves on the strip, off the strip, but we've chosen it. This is it. This is our passion.
Okay. Well, I guess cue the inspirational music for later edit.
Yeah.
But there was an interview with Novak Djokovic in I think 2018, and he said, the only reason why I can play so well at this high level all the time is because I like hitting the ball. And I think that's like a very powerful quote. And then the interviewer asked him also like, so like, do other people like hitting the ball? And he said, sometimes I see that they don't. They have the wrong motivation, but I don't judge. I think one thing for me that I've realized is that it resonates with me, because I think the only reason why I'm doing this is because I like fencing, like for each point. So I don't know if I can really pinpoint like an exact moment where I can tell you like, oh, like this is the moment where I told myself like, oh, I should just do this all in. I think there's going to be like a lot of like ups and downs in anyone's career. And as long as you bring it back to, I'm doing this because I enjoy fencing, it should be fine. So like, it's not like a direct answer, but
No,
it absolutely checks out, just knowing you and knowing, like, having watched you since I was 9 years old in this sport. You've always been a very talented fencer, but just very like fighting for every point and very physically capable, hitting very, very nice touches, like great technique. But with that great technique comes a certain level of discipline, right? And ability. And you don't get that ability like naturally, right? There are some people who naturally talented, you can't teach this stuff, just like good at fencing. And Justin obviously has some talent, but like when you watch him, you go, that's made. Like you made that. And from as
he's
long
forged
from the very first time
Fire.
like I ever saw you fencing. So I think that checks out from the start. If you enjoy fighting for this and doing this, then you can do it at a very high level from the beginning.
I totally agree. You just enjoy hitting us in the balls.
No, actually, he's the one who gets hit in the balls.
That's a
that's
funny.
true. That's true.
There
No,
was 1 month in LA.
It was longer than a month, dude.
Every practice I got hit in the balls. It was in
all right. What made you want to keep coming back to fencing?
Well,
after
Getting
that?
hit in the balls.
every time I was like, every practice I was like, okay, today it's not going to happen. And sure enough, I was fencing Steven. And then someone on the strip next to us hit me in the balls.
I was about to say Steven's not that strong. It had to be.
I've hit him in the balls plenty of times, man.
It was, yeah, actually.
It was Addie-Tyne Sandler.
Yeah,
he's
he's-
very strong.
yeah.
Ouch. I'm
without
sorry.
fail. That was crazy. I really considered getting a cup, but then like it stopped and I was like, maybe I'm safe.
All
and then
right.
I got hit in the balls again.
So, should we talk about why most fencers don't wear cups? What's your answer? Why don't you wear a cup?
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't happen often enough to warrant it. And when it does happen, it hurts very much. But it doesn't hurt like
Enough.
it doesn't hurt enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt for long enough. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like a lasting repercussion.
Does the
right?
room agree with that sentiment? I agree with that sentiment.
I agree with it too, but
Uh-oh.
I think there's also like a laziness aspect to it.
Oh, 100%.
Like-
100%.
I can't imagine doing that every single practice, because if you do it only once at tournaments, it's like a new like variable you added in for yourself.
The chafing.
Yeah,
God,
like
my God.
so like you have to practice with it. And there's no way I'm hooking that up.
Yeah,
Every practice.
I understand. But I respect anyone who does.
I
because
absolutely-
You're making better
It's a
decisions. than
much
any of
better
us.
decision.
But then do you draw the line at shin guards?
I would
You
never
know,
wear a shin
honestly,
guard.
I'm a couple scars away from putting on a shin guard.
You're weak.
I don't care.
Honestly, I think it like could like nullify some touches against
Yeah,
because
I might wear a
think
chest
it-
protector too. Honestly, don't tempt me. I'm slimy as is. Like, might add to the lore.
I think you'd have to really research shin guards because I think it might help some touches.
All right.
Oh, you might no, I'm saying like it like if someone hits
deflect
you,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what
I'm saying
yeah.
I'm saying the opposite. I
Really?
think
You think it'll-
depending on the shin guard, it might absorb some touches.
I guess if you like have like a shin guard with like, I know I've seen some with like some grooves and like holes in it. You got to avoid those.
Yeah,
I think if you get like
100%.
a pure plastic one, can make our, should we make our own shin guards?
We're gonna craft a shin guard.
Oh
Hey,
my God.
Next business idea. So yeah, I think that's a good answer for the all in moment. I think that's really awesome. I hadn't heard that quote before, and I definitely resonate with that. You know, amongst everything that we've said, the game is really fun.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, some people fall in love with basketball, some people fall in love with chess, and like we fell in love with fencing. And I have seen that love from you for many years. You know, Steve, I heard about Justin before I'd ever met you. When we were 12 years old, Anton Piskovatska came back.
Another Anton shout.
Yeah, of course. And
Love
Anton's an OG. He came back from an April tournament in what must have been 2008. And he told me I had never been to a real NAC, or a National North American Cup, which is like the largest form of a national competition that we have available in USA fencing. And he told me about the competitors in the 12-year-old age group. And one of them was Alexander Eldib,
Oh yeah.
legend. And then he told me about Justin Yoo. And I was just hearing about this legendary,
Small Korean boy.
small Korean boy who just
Hits like a truck.
he hits like a truck. He's been training like freaking, I don't even know, just a soldier from the age of 10. And then I got to fence you in 2008 in my first national tournament and some seeding round in the pools. And it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced.
I thought you won that one.
I did. That was the last time I beat Justin at a NAC, and we fenced many times. And we should talk about that in a bit. But
maybe let's touch really quick on, because
Yeah.
we've alluded to it, but tell us how you started. Tell
Yeah,
us
yeah.
about
Yeah.
the training
yeah,
process.
how'd you find
LA,
fencing?
yeah.
Yeah. Like, tell us about your life. Who are
Okay.
you?
I had just moved from
Talk
Korea.
to the mic.
I just moved from Korea to LA.
How old were you?
I was 6 years old, and then a year later, my mom was trying to find me and my brother hobbies, so I started playing tennis. I played really well. I was ranked pretty highly in like youth tennis, and then I somehow my mom wanted to go shopping at the strip mall, and I think I was just like a very annoying like toddler or like young man, young boy. And she made me go watch this fencing demonstration that was just like happening outside the strip mall. So then the person running the strip mall said, "Oh, Gago Demirchian, who just coached the Beijing Olympic team, or was it Athens? I don't remember."
When you were
he-
6,
when
it
you-
must
yeah,
have been
seven.
Athens.
Yeah.
I think it was Athens.
Because
You're right.
you were 7 and 04.
Yeah. He
Ask me how I know.
he's coaching at this fencing club down the street. So then she got me into it, and then for a while I was playing tennis and fencing, and also playing golf. But I hated golf so much. And I also was doing violin and school. Now that I'm saying this out loud, that was a lot of stuff.
You
Like,
balance. I think you balance the most throughout all of our lives, and I think one of the things I want to talk about throughout this podcast is what you've learned from that. But continue.
And then I was also playing piano.
And StarCraft.
That wasn't until later. But so then I think actually it kind of helped me that I was playing all these sports, because I think it like kind of shapes like I don't think I would have been athletic if I like didn't do all these sports to begin with. But yeah, then eventually I think when I was 13 or 14, I like chose to go all in on fencing, and then somehow violin tagged along until I was 16 or 17, much to my like horror. I hated playing violin too. And okay, so back to the fencing. I like I trained with Nana Demirchian, who was Gago's sister, until I was 12, and then I got like pushed off to Gago and his dad. And I actually really have to like credit Gago's dad.
Edward Demirchian.
That's
from
yeah.
Armenia.
Those lessons I had with him were like the most insane, like batshit crazy lessons I've ever taken in my life, where it was like I had to do like so much stuff with my hand while running up and down the strip for like 30, 40 minutes. And I think that actually really helped me like have the cardio and have the capacity to like fence the way I do today even. Like it really helped.
So for context, Edward is a gangsta.
Yeah.
He's this old Armenian man.
He must be in his 90s now.
We should check in.
I really
on
should
him.
I should call Gago.
Yeah.
So Edward, like, I guess when I was 7, he was in his like 70s. He was like doing pull-ups, and like he would do this stretch against this wall where his like legs would go into like almost like a full split.
There's like a
And
little retaining wall about, I don't know, yay high.
4 feet, 5 feet.
Yeah,
4 feet,
4 feet.
definitely.
And he
Yeah.
would just, because I would go to LAIFC sometimes, and this is years later, so this is 80s, 70s, 80s, whatever. after giving all these lessons all night and doing his workouts, he'd go over, throw his leg up on the retaining wall and like lean into it and almost a full split every time without fail. And truly a testament to what you want to be.
How many years do you think he's lived in the US?
Probably a little shorter than Gago. I think Gago came first.
Probably like 30
years?
Yeah.
20 something to 30
Roughly
years.
how many English words do you think he knows?
Yeah, it's about, he only knows yes, or he only knows good or no good. That's it.
But seriously, I mean, he was a foundational character in your development.
Especially when in that formative years. He would also like bench press like 2 plates or something when he was like 70. It was really nuts. But Gago, I guess like a part of also my formative years were like I had like a really good training group with me, like people like kids who like also wanted to achieve great things in fencing.
The G unit.
Yeah, that's what we call ourselves.
Tell us about the G unit.
It was Jake Rainis, Porter Hesselgrave, and Charlie Horowitz. Jake and Porter were a year older than me. Charlie was a year younger than me. So Charlie was kind of the younger brother of the group. And I think that like actually helped him as a fencer too, because he didn't have the same physical gifts as me, Jake, and Porter. So he had to learn how to be real squirrely with it.
And very smart.
But also really squirrely.
I hope you're listening to this, Charlie.
And we really pushed each other, I think. But I think Gago also was, I have a theory, and I've shared this with many people, that Gago saw Rocky one time and said, we need to train just like that. So we started doing clean and jerks. I don't think we did beach runs, but that was like the next best things, the stairs. We were doing this exercise where like we had this bar and we had to like thrust it like in like back and forth like while standing up. It was really weird. But I saw like clips of a training montage that Rocky did in high school, and it looked very similar to what we were doing. And at some point, like I think Jake was the first one to like really break out. And while he was 13 or 14, he like made like a top 12 in juniors. I think that really.
I think he made it top 8.
No, I made the top 8,
like
the tournament after, and we started like really like going head to head with the results. And I think that like having that competition as like at a young age, like really like, I think it just prepares you for like all sorts of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was cool. Like at one point, me, Porter, and Jake were like 1, 2, and 3 at a NAC or something, or 1, 3, and 3.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty amazing. And I remember fencing against you guys growing up. You know, we're a little bit older than Steven here, the young buck. He's even younger than Charlie, this younger brother that we talked about. But Steven ended up being a legend in his own way as we got older. But I remember facing the G unit and you guys, and with the wins and the losses, you guys were probably the toughest fighters I ever faced in our age group. And I mean, it's really it shaped all of us, right? Like we pushed each other, and watching you guys push each other was inspiring to us in Texas. And we had our own version of the G unit. We just call ourselves Lions Fencing Academy 1 or something. but I mean,
the really, Alliance 1 name still holds some weight, and the G unit,
the G unit's gone.
Unit's gone.
But seriously, you guys inspired, for what it's worth, people even at your level to push harder, and a lot of the results that we earned was, a testament to how successful you guys were and how hard y'all were working, because we realized that if we wanted to compete and achieve great things, we had to push as hard or harder in our own ways, which were never going to be the same. We realized, like, okay, we can't thrust a bar while standing like this, but
running on the beach.
Yeah, we have to use whatever leverage we have and improve at that. So that was a really fun era, I think, of fencing, where we fenced you guys a lot individually, and we fenced a couple times in teams and had some pretty epic matches.
We fenced a match at like 2 a.m.
Oh yeah, the U.S. fencing with the worst run tournament ever was
really bad.
They started we must have had like 70 something or 80 something.
They started a junior team event of 70 teams at 1 p.m.
Is that one?
I remember this because I was leaving at this Summer Nationals, leaving dinner and going back to my hotel and saw Charlie walking down the street with his fencing bag.
Yeah.
We were like, don't you have the finals right now? Like,
Oh yeah, they sent Charlie home. I forgot
Yeah,
about
and
that.
he was like, nope, got cadet tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
They sent me
Yeah.
to go to bed.
That's
like, I guess they'll be okay.
That's why you guys lost the finals. You needed some more squirrely energy in
We
there.
did need squirrely
Yeah.
energy.
No, but truly, that's where you ended. You started your career. Then from there, you went to UPenn,
I did.
and then you spent another year in LA, and then you came to New York, where we're all training now. So, I think one of the things that I want to touch on, and Steven and I want to touch on, is how that experience has been different for you. Training in LA at a club as a child and then a teenager, and then the NCAA fencing experience at an elite institution. Justin graduated from Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania, and then training as an adult in a totally different club environment at the New York Athletic Club. And what just I guess tell us about that. What have you learned from one that you've taken to another, or what are the differences or similarities, or just anything you really want to share about that experience? Because you've experienced 3 very different forms of training, and you're continuing to do it at a high level. And what are your thoughts?
I think the program at Penn is sound. I think it works, but I do think like one of the issues I was finding was Jake was kind of on his way out of competitive fencing, like towards like the end of his school year. Jean-B Garzo was just not even competitively fencing. He was just doing NCAAs. And I think like as much as I love those guys and we also did very well at a lot of college tournaments, I think it was hard for me in that like if you're the only one doing like even junior World Cups and then later on senior World Cups, it's kind of like, what am I really doing? And also like with school and like with like just applying for jobs, trying to like get good grades, it becomes hard. And so like, I guess the main difference I had from LIFC and Penn was just, I didn't have like the G unit like energy vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the right word.
I think
Just
it is.
support.
Yeah. I mean,
structure even.
I think honestly, I think the structure was fine. Like I think
never
like
mind. Scratch that.
I mean, there was like a conditioning program. Slava Danilov is a great coach. He was a great fencer. I just think it's like you have so many other things after you get out of high school. Like you're basically like, I feel like all 3 of us at one point in high school felt like professional athletes.
Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
I felt like we were training to go. Like I said it on the last podcast, I didn't go to Notre Dame to play school. I thought I was going pro in fencing.
At one point in high school, I don't know how we did this. We convinced my school to like let me prepare for Worlds better. Like I'm going to take half days for a couple weeks.
Dude, I did that for a whole year.
That's great.
My senior year, I literally got out of school at 11:30 a.m. and went straight to Alliance Fencing Academy every single day because I'd taken all the classes that I needed to graduate and some. I took like a lot of credits, and I would literally just train. That's why I made senior world team when we were in high school. It's because every single day I would get out of school, go take a lesson, do conditioning, take a break, eat some Whataburger or something nasty, and then go and do a whole nother practice. And at that point in our lives, like you have nothing else you really care about.
You also have the capacity to do
Yeah,
it.
you
Like
have
your
so many-
recovery is much better.
Your hormones, you got like, you just recently hit puberty, and the desire is
Bones
there.
are made of rubber.
Yeah, you're not jaded. So I
Everything is
agree with
free.
you.
Everything's free.
But that, we mean thank you to all of our parents. This is a unanimous shout out to our parents.
Yeah.
And we'll take, I think Steven and I may or may not have shouted out our parents last episode.
I don't think we did.
Shout out to our parents and shout out to
Shout out Gia.
GAU.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to you, Justin.
I don't even know what we're talking
We're
about.
talking about just the differences.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Then from UPenn, you went to New York.
I went to New
And then
York.
nothing's free.
Yeah, no,
Nothing's
now
free.
everything costs
way too much.
Not only do you have to pay, but it costs way more because you're in New York City, but you still choose to do it, and that's something we want to highlight here. Like the passion, like you're doing this not just because you love hitting the ball, but because this is something that you've chosen for yourself as something that defines your experience.
Yeah, you could scratch the itch a couple times a week, go hit the ball, and then that could be it, Yeah. And you could go experience all that New York and life has to offer.
There is a lot you miss out in like New York, but I've realized that like there's always like after you're done fencing and after everything's like the dust is settled, you can like still do life if you hadn't fenced too, like afterwards. It's not like you just can't do the opposite where you do life now and then decide to like get back into fencing like afterwards.
Well, you just can't compete at Senior World Cups or go to the Olympics, most likely.
I would be very impressed
unless you're an absolute legend.
Yeah, like that,
more than anyone knows.
Yeah,
One Punch Man type of stuff.
That it would be incredible if you could do that. But I guess like one thing I've also found in New York is kind of the same vibe I've had from LAFC when I was younger, where I have like you guys and plus like I don't know 3-4 other guys.
At least
do I name them? I don't know.
You can name some of them. Why not?
Teddy Lombardo, James Call, Ryan Griffiths,
Tristan Sapari,
Sam Emmerich. God, the list just goes on and
on.
No,
there are plenty of people like training. Ian Sanders is training full time.
Sean Strong might be coming here.
Yeah, Sean Strong is moving here. That's just at New York Athletic Club. And then if you want other bouting, you got people elsewhere. And then you have people who are training a little more casually as well, and they're still strong bouts.
Jake Reynes.
Yeah, Jake Reynes. Gabe Cano. You also have, really strong teenagers that come in and want to fence with us. The Bizrodnev twins.
The B twins.
You have people like Daniil Mazur, Ukrainian.
Yeah, it's like I feel like every time I look at like a NAC podium, there's at least like 3 of us like on there.
Yeah.
And it's really nuts.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's really strong.
So has that been motivating for you? Or
I think so. I think it's like more fun to like actually fence now because it's like instead of fencing people in college, who like if you win, like great, because they're like not like competitively fencing and they're take like 1 lesson a week and like whatever. Like they have like actual life stuff to do. But like here it's like we're all competing like we're all like trying to actually like kill each other. Like there have been bouts I've fenced with both of you where I think I've tried to kill you. Like
and you didn't.
I think you killed me. I experienced at least multiple forms of death or ego death. I have some scarage. Maybe not. Anywho.
But yeah, and plus like I've been taking lessons with Soren now.
Who's Soren? Tell us about you.
Soren
That's a
Thompson.
name you drop in.
Yeah. He's Steven's coach as well.
Shout out Soren.
Tell us about him.
He's been like very instrumental in
Who is he?
Well, okay.
You mentioned Seth Kelsey earlier.
Soren is also an American legend. He was up there with Seth. He was on the same team as Seth.
That won the world championships
in 2012 and got silver in 2011.
2010.
Yeah.
Was it 20? Oh yeah, that was in Paris.
I trust my friends.
You're okay.
The encyclopedia has weighed in.
Thanks, Ari.
Anyways, I think Soren also got top 8 at the Olympics in like 2004.
Yeah.
Okay. I really should know that. I'm sorry, Soren.
No, Soren, he still loves you.
Soren,
if you ever listen to this, Justin knows.
But he's been like, I think he's been really instrumental in keeping like fencing fresh. I think what I've realized is a lot of coaches have, even just throughout my life, with the exception of Kay, who's also a fencing legend in like Korea, during a time where Korean fencing was extremely dominant. And
Kim Won-jin.
Or
Won-jin Kim.
Probably the hardest bout I've ever fenced in my entire life was against Kay. He beat me 15-1 or something right before I went to World Championships where I got those medals. Like literally like 2 days before.
It was just a preview of the Yamada final.
It was so nuts too because he like, from the get-go, he like just did not bounce, and he was only like crab walking at me. And like at one point he like stopped like pommeling his French grip and just choked up, and then like was still hitting the same touches anyways. It was really crazy.
I think he just wanted you to know you had room to grow.
And then, but I get back to my point. Like a lot of these, I think a lot of coaches, like the fencing, I guess fencing lessons get a little stale where it's like feint, disengage, lunge, and you do this preparation to get this reaction. You do like X to get Y, and it goes over and over again. Then you can like do these lessons. Eventually you can kind of do these lessons without really like thinking about it. And like it becomes like very monotonous, not fresh. It's not like you don't get any like new ideas about what you're supposed to like try in like an actual practice bout, because then you're just practicing the same preparations to get the same reaction. If you don't get that reaction, then what is your opponent doing or something? And it gets real funky. But I think with Soren and with Kay in the past, I think like having like a more open view of like what your opponent could do, and like having like a positive mindset that if you do the right steps and control your opponent in the right way, then there's the probability, the cloud of probability of you getting a point becomes like higher, closer to like 100%. Never will be 100%, but it gets closer to it. So it leaves a lot of room for like improvisation, a lot of room for like ideas I've had. Like, and some of the ideas get real funky and ridiculous. Like there's an idea I talked to Steven about, which I have yet to try. And one day I really want to, where
You better air this out.
I will, because
Yeah, let's hear it.
it's hilarious.
All right.
I think didn't I do it to you?
I don't know.
I think I did this to you a couple weeks ago.
Did you get the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's
Is it
pretty.
the drive-by?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I don't think it's
Oh,
a
wait.
drive-by.
No.
Well, okay. Similar.
All right,
Did you-
Justin,
Yeah.
air it out.
Okay,
Fair
so let's say you're just fencing your opponent, you're feeling him out, and then all of a sudden you just drop all pretenses of being fencing on guard. Like you're just not fencing anymore. You sprint at your opponent, and whatever reaction your opponent gives you, whether it's a parry or counterattack, you just deal with it.
Sort of the
Would-
drive-by.
Which is hilarious, though, if you think about it, because why are we in this fucking on guard sometimes?
No, it's true.
Like
I
it makes
think-
no sense.
I think especially as fencing has developed and progressed, we're approaching this point of extreme creativity in the sport that doesn't rely as much on technique. Like maybe at the end of the day, you do need to have technique to hit, right? But it's relying a lot more on this timing, this tricking your opponent into just a situation where they are screwed and you are initiating. And you're seeing a lot more squirrely looking fencers. No, but seriously, it's really unique because there's been for the last probably 20 years, a huge push towards really good technique and this perfect on guard and moving in this.
I think longer than that.
No, longer, sure. But I'm just
But
saying,
yeah.
like, we're really it's becoming more and more athletic. And now we've reached a point where it's just like, how well can you hit the other guy?
Yeah.
And it's making it way more exciting, in my opinion, way faster and way more like a real fight, right? Like in boxing, or not just boxing, right? Like in a street fight, like you don't care about technique. I mean, some people do and it helps, and some people don't and it helps. And that's kind of this thing that you're touching on, right? This
like
moment of, I just need to trick you or make you react to me and be in charge of the situation and commit and hit you, regardless of if I'm in a perfect fencing, stance, or if I'm just hitting you, who cares?
I also do think, since this is my last push for an Olympics,
Uh-huh.
I want to just develop the most like janky points. So
Wow.
I'm definitely gonna like
Just pull them out.
I'm just
Dude,
gonna pull them out soon.
One day there's going to be a beautiful highlight reel of all of these like crazy Justin Yoo moments.
Where I'm just like sprutting at the person
yeah.
with
Why not?
arms in the air.
Yeah, why not, dude? You got a Luigi dive side B at them.
So, yeah, I
Ryan's
feel
already
like
got that.
I feel like I've like fenced so long with like trying to like have good technique, where I get to have 3 years of me
Doing whatever
just
you want.
doing whatever I want. So I'm really gonna embrace it soon.
Pablo Picasso was an amazing amazing painter in the conventional sense before he deviated and started experimenting with cubism. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Pablo Picasso has a collection of paintings
Before
that are just
gone to weird squares.
Yeah, they're just like the traditional, oh wow, that's a beautiful depiction of a woman looking out of a window or something like that. Don't quote me on it. I don't know if he has one of those, but you know what I mean. And then, he started diving into cubism and abstracting from what we believed was art and starting to try and capture the essence of what it is you're looking at. And I think that's what you're touching on. Like, what is the essence of fencing? The essence of fencing is hitting your opponent before
With a
they hit you
stick.
with a sword, with an epee. But really, it's the essence is just like, can I hit you before you hit me?
Yeah,
and
I agree
really,
with that. And
I can't wait to see this. Is what I'm saying.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to like brainstorm.
Yeah.
I won't get too far into it.
You can. This is your platform. Every listener, we had like 150 listeners.
Or what
on
if this is the
first one.
mind game for whoever listens? They're gonna
They're gonna
expect me.
that, and you're just gonna do a perfect advanced lunge. Dude, it's GG's either way. But yeah, I think that's great. I know I've been the one rattling off the questions. Is that cool? Steven and I are on the same
we're gonna
Google Doc.
redo this whole thing.
Yeah. So,
but I'm gonna ask some of the questions you asked.
Steven and I wrote this together. I have a question for you, and you already answered this. You
Okay.
answered your all-in moment was actually the answer to the question, why do you do it, right? So I'm not going to ask you why do you do it or what was your all-in moment, but we're going to ask you a different thing. And what or who inspires you to keep going? Like there are many hard moments in this sport, and love of the game is one answer that you can give, and that's one aspect of it. But there's so much more that encompasses what we do, and love is not always enough. Like, you talked about this one time with me, and I believe Steven was there too. You talked about how motivation is a waning thing, right?
That was my line.
Oh, okay.
Stealing.
Steven said that, and you look just like Justin, so I thought he said it. But what keeps you inspired, and how do you stay motivated? Like, you've been successful on the US stage and even on the world stage for so long. Your world championships result that we talked about, this double medal was 11 years ago. What keeps you motivated? Obviously the love of the game is one thing, but really, what do you draw on when you're down? What do you draw on when you're up? Tell us.
I think for a while, at least like since I've moved to New York, actually become an adult, I think one thing that really kept me going for a bit was just that like spite for like other people, where I could work this like full-time finance job and fence well, and that like I was in like kind of a dark place where I was just like I went through like I went through something very traumatic, and then after that I was a very spiteful, angry person. And so for a while there I was like, I'm going to beat this person and I'm going to go work at my office job, and which is silly to say out loud but like I guess when you're like kind of in the dumps, like it doesn't sound so silly and actually is kind of motivating, which I don't recommend, but it works. But I wouldn't recommend it. But then I realized, like, again, that's like such a silly, stupid like thing to think about for a while, and it doesn't last. But one thing I like fencing, and that's why I keep doing it. But I feel like I owe it to myself to like try to like take this to the finish line, and I guess that's what motivates me. But yeah, I think there's always going to be like really dark moments for people, and I think one thing to remember is like we're all human, and I think however you deal with it, just try to remember like there's always going to be like an end to like that darkness, and there's always going to be like there's ups and downs, and however motivated you are isn't necessarily linear, and it isn't necessarily correlated to how well you do too. And so it's confusing too. But I think as long as one thing I like now do is I try to remember how grateful I am that I can actually do both of these things. I think gratefulness is just a very powerful motivator and tool. So, yeah,
It's pretty good.
Really making me think about my life here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna need a minute.
No worries. All right. With that in mind, I guess Steve and I talked a lot about these types of things last time, and we've watched you ebb and flow through those hard moments and challenges, and throughout that, you've maintained this image, not just image, but truly, consistent flow of being the hardest worker that we know. And all in all, we're not asking exactly that, why do you do that? How do you do that? Some people have it in them to work as hard as you do. Some people don't. But how has fencing, one of the things we haven't talked about on this episode is your professional career. How has fencing helped or hurt, or both, your professional career? You work in finance, and that's a really broad term, but if you're comfortable,
Sure.
share with us just how you've utilized it, leveraged it, or learned from it in your work, or vice versa.
I think since I've been, I kind of got my ass kicked at work like for the first couple of years. And I think it's like you need to become, at least I'm not sure how many of your listeners like work in finance, but it's a very like
It's just
detail.
you.
Yeah. It's a very detail oriented like job. And I'm sure a lot of jobs are like that. But especially as I was handling investor requests, it like every like number on this like 10 by 10 or not, like the Excels like cells would go from like columns A to like AY, and then it would go row from like 1 to like, I don't know, 150. So you do the math on how many cells there were, and each one of those had to be like correct. And even though if I had one wrong and everything else was right, that one wrong is what people remember. And if it gets caught, then you're fucked. Like capital F, you're fucked. I think like having that awareness of like being detail oriented really helped me get better at fencing, because it really helped me like, I think to be that detail oriented, you need to have a process, and you need to be aware. You need to know how to be aware of a lot of, I guess, I hate using the word details so many times, but that is what like that is what work helped me like with fencing. So I think like, for example, like I think it really helped me like with my distance, where like I now am like very comfortable being a lot more aware of like where my opponent is at all times, and I don't get like mentally tired because work has trained me to like work at like midnight, like burning the midnight oil like on this Excel sheet, and what's 9 minutes of like fencing compared to doing that. On the flip side, on the flip side, I think fencing has like, even I'm not sure like how much fencing has like helped like with my job, but one thing I've like just having to balance all these things with like fencing work, and when I was younger, like violin, piano, golf, and tennis, and God knows what else. I think one thing I realized is like time management is sort of like irrelevant if you can't actually focus on the task at hand. So one thing I've tried to get good at, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it, is like if I'm working, then I'm working like 100%. If I need to get this task done at work, then it's only about this task. But when I like leave work and then when I go fence, like sometimes I'll check my email at fencing like between bouts, but it's only about like the bout I'm fencing. So
it goes back to being present.
Yeah,
Like that is
exactly.
what that is. It's just being present in the moment. 100% what you're doing is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
And I feel like those two things have really helped me. But again, like I wouldn't recommend working in my job while fencing. It has like negatives as well, where like I feel stressed if I like leave the office too early and everyone's still there, or like I need to work after practice and I'm just tired and I've barely slept for like the last week. And it just goes, there are like pros and cons to like doing both. But at the same time, I mean, I think it'll hopefully make me a better, I don't know, have me more well equipped in the future.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
good stuff.
Yeah. Again, it sucks, but it's worth it.
Yeah. So to close out this episode, Steve and I are going to rapid fire some questions at you.
Let's go.
Who's your name 2 fencers all time? Your favorites? Go.
Just off the top of your head. No reasoning.
Okay. Jungjin Sun and Mike Reynes.
Oh, Michael Reynes.
Deep cut.
I like that. Off the top of your head, who's the hardest bout you've ever fenced?
Kim Won-jin.
All right.
By
Hardest
far.
bout in competition.
In competition? Whoa. I feel like there have been so many. I think Soren Thompson. I fenced him in Heidenheim and lost 15-3.
Tough.
And he just was like, he was doing this thing where he would like salute, but instead of like, having your blade up, he would put the point in my face, like after we tested bell guards each time. And his point would be like right here. And it was insane.
You were like, please coach me. All right, Steve, your question.
Favorite fencing or city you've been to for fencing?
Ooh. Taipei, Taiwan.
Ooh, that's a
Yeah.
pretty good
Nice
one. All right. How many times will you beat Ari Simmons in a competition before he finally beats you?
Oh God. I feel like it's been so close the last, like, I don't know, 5 years.
It's been longer than 5 years.
No, but like every like bout we've had in the last 5
yeah.
years has been closer and closer.
You don't have to answer that. That was a
Yeah.
joke. All right, Steven.
Favorite Excel function?
Some product.
All right. That's
Yeah.
pretty good. And name someone else that you think we should have on this podcast.
All of our like contemporaries are like degenerates.
Edward Demirci.
Yeah.
Like realistically, or
Yeah,
like
just whoever, just name anyone, man.
name. I feel like the people who would be good at this podcast aren't available.
Name one.
Okay.
This is off the top of your head. You're
All right.
thinking too.
Teddy Lombardo.
All right.
Good job, guys.
We did.
Well, Justin, thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to be here. Really enjoyed hearing more insight on your life, your journey, why you do what you do. Pleasure to have you. Ari, great job. You're a wonderful moderator, a true inspiration to all those who like to speak.
Oh, jeez.
And
We got to have you reading more next time.
it's all good. And thank you all for listening. And share your feedback. Love to hear from you. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Direct Elimination Podcast.
Thanks for tuning in or watching this episode. We have a lot more guests that we're going to be speaking with and having on the show. And we can't wait to share their stories and jokes, laughter, memory, and lessons with you. Take care. Follow, like, share, and subscribe.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Team Prior USA. Thank you for all your support. Without you, we couldn't do what we do.